Adoption? No, just a vigilante care program. By orphaned account, on AO3. Episode 9, Chapter 8. The two teenagers engage in battle, and it was hard to keep track. Punch, dodge, kick, block. The cycle goes on and on, each student predicting what the other will do. After the minutes wear on, Shouta feels the urge to call the match. He is aware that a 10-minute timer is set, but his gut is screaming at him to do something. For some reason, this match just feels all kinds of wrong. Then, it happens. The two are a foot or two away from one another. They're catching their breaths, when Midoriya reaches up to his face. He begins to lower the mask. "Kid, keep your mask on," Shouta shouts, but it falls on deaf ears. Midoriya pulls the mask off fully, and everyone watches as Bakugou's eyes widen in surprise. Only Jiro is able to pick up Bakugou's soft whisper. Deku? Bakugou's stunned. Midoriya makes his move. He knocks Bakugou over with a punch and restrains him. He smiles again. This time, however, the class can see his mouth as he smiles. This smile is rather sadistic. "Well, isn't this fun, Kachan?" Shouta sucks in a breath. Kachan. Kachan was Bakugou. The blonde began struggling in Midoriya's hold. They can hear the grumbles and muffled shouts. "Oi, damn Deku, let me go! Get off your ass!" Slowly, as if Midoriya doesn't want to, he allows Bakugou to stand up. Everyone is watching closely as Bakugou wraps his hands around Midoriya's collar. "What the hell, Deku?" Shouta presses the nickname Bakugou has been using. Deku. Was Bakugou the reason Midoriya chose to have that his hero name be Deku? "You vanish and just turn up at UA? You goddamn nerd! What the hell?" Midoriya laughs. "It was for dramatic effect." "Dramatic effect my ass! Where you been? You can't just fuck-lawn vanish for last year of middle school." He shakes Midoriya a few more times, his head jerking with each shake. Shouta makes a step forward, but Midoriya waves him off. "I went lots of places," Midoriya says with a smile. "Now let me go, Kachan." "Kachan?" Kirishima says loudly. Bakugou makes no move to drop the boy, so Midoriya kicks him. Bakugou drops him immediately. "You disappear for 2 years and then just turn up at UA? And you can fight? What the actual hell, Deku?" "I was busy," was the only response Midoriya seemed to be able to give. Although Shouta could tell, by the gleam of his eye, Midoriya was loving this. "Who are you?" It is Shinso that asks, which is a surprise. The boy is normally silent. "I'm Izuku Midoriya." The brainwashing happens instantly. Midoriya's eyes glaze over. Shinso gets a few hard nudges from his classmates. Shinso tilts his head before releasing his quirk. Shouta had made eye contact with him. "Sorry, Sensei," Shinso says, not sounding very sorry at all. "Whoa!" Midoriya shouts. "That was so weird. It was like I was floating. I watched you during the sports festival and your quirk was so awesome. It's even cooler in person, though." "Oi, nerd! You never answered my question. Where the hell have you been?" The attention shifted back to Bakugou. Midoriya shuffling his feet. "I'm kinda busy, Kachan." "I don't care. Where the hell have you been? Until Inko dies and then a few months later you vanish? I thought you were dead or something." "Well, I'm obviously not dead." The class's eyes popped pangle between the two of them. "This is better than TV," Mina whispers. "Shh, we won't hear the rest," Hagakure says as she hushes the group. "Deku, answer me." "I was homeschooled," the boy spat out rather sadistically. "Did it ever occur to you that I didn't want to see your face again?" Bakugou scowled. "Well, my parents made some big deal about you running away. My parents wasted time looking for your ass." "I never ran away, and I never asked them to look for me." "Well, I still had to deal with all that shit, so tell me what the fuck happened." Bakugou. The use of his last name shuts Bakugou up. His eyes pause, contemplatively. "We'll talk later, nerd." Midoriya shakes his head, frowning. "So," there's a very long pause. "I told you guys my name. I grew up with Kachan." He runs his hands through his curls and gestures to the area where he had been sparring. "Who's next?" Nobody moves forward. "So you knew Bakugou?" Jiro finally asks. "Yes." Midoriya condones. "Was he still a prick in middle school?" Todoroki's monotone voice rang through the building. Bakugou flares. Shut up, half and half. Yes, he was a prick. He never had any friends, right? That was Kaminari. Because he's all like, die and load explosion. Honestly, I think we're all saints for putting up with him. Shouta watches as Midoriya attempts and fails to hold back a laugh. Dunce face. Yeah? Shut up. And I'm not done with you, shitty nerd. That's enough. Shouta finally cuts in. Midoriya seems to be handling the situation for his own enjoyment, but certainly not handling it well. Now that we're getting off track. He was just hoping nobody thought too hard on why Midoriya was wearing a mask. The last thing we need is for this class to be discovered that he was a vigilante. Now that you guys have your little reunion, let's move on. Aizawa-sensei, I'm gonna ask him stuff. We need dirt on Bakugou. Classmates, this is inexcusable behavior. We should listen to Aizawa-sensei. Sato, you're up. Izuku stretched out his arms a few times. 2A was rather predictable when they fought. Much like he had predicted, only a few of the people actually surprised them. Luckily, he managed to pull off 20 straight wins. In reality, he lucked out against Todoroki and Shinso. It was very obvious both of them had martial arts training and fought regularly without their quirks. While others were good, those two were on a different level. All in all, it was a pretty good afternoon. Aizawa sent his students to spar amongst one another. Izuku sculpted when he saw the man frowned, as Aizawa finally made his way to Izuku. He knew revealing his identity would have consequences, as long as he didn't get kicked out. Hey, Aizawa, he said nervously, sporting a small smile. Midoriya, why on earth would you take your mask off? It was the only way I could think of beating Kacchan. So you risked exposing your identity and ended up in a jail to beat someone in a sparring match? Yes? Sometimes I really wonder if you have any working brain cells. What if it was the only way? Kacchan's amazing. I needed a surprise factor to beat him. The only one I could think of was me. Izuku could tell Aizawa was really close to snapping at him. That doesn't justify your actions. I know. Izuku paused, trying to keep his voice neutral. But I wanted to prove that I could beat him. I needed to prove to myself that I could do it. Is this about you and Bakugou's past? Aizawa asked tentatively. Is this why you didn't tell me about him sooner? It doesn't really matter. I just wanted to win. Izuku crossed his arms over his chest, closing off his body language, making it painfully obvious that he was done with the conversation. I'd like to talk more about it at home if you're comfortable. You're also doing dishes for the rest of the week because of the whole identity stunt you pulled. Izuku nodded his head and walked over to sit by the wall. It was really weird seeing Kacchan again. The boy was just as Izuku remembered. The only thing that seemed to change was his friends. From what Izuku had noticed and listened, they actually somewhat liked him. Nobody ever really liked Kacchan. They just followed him so they wouldn't be bullied. These people seemed to care about Kacchan. Izuku was glad Kacchan found someone to put up with him, even if he felt a little bitter. He was probably going to get yelled at again. Kacchan was pissed at him, but it was worth seeing his surprised face. The blonde was still glaring at him from where he fought Kaminari. The poor kid was getting hit with frontal assaults from Kacchan. The way Kacchan was glaring at him, he could tell the message Kacchan was trying to tell him. He better not meet with Kacchan alone after class. He really didn't want to miss time on patrol because of some bruises, especially since his hours were reduced after starting to live with Aizawa and Yamada. Since he was a guest, he needed a teacher's supervision at all times, so he couldn't leave and go back home. Izuku did not want to fight or just offer some advice to everyone sparring, but every time he shifted, he could feel the weight of Bakugou's stare, which is why he was much more comfortable where he was on the ground. He didn't want to listen to the boy's annoying yelling. That was until Aizawa called him over. I didn't bring you to A just for you to beat up all my students. Help him. His friend? Roommate? Companion? Landlord? Partner? Said his voice, ice cold. It was clear Aizawa was still angry at him. Yes, sir. With that, Midoriya moved to the opposite side of the gym, to where Kacchan wasn't. He shifted through pairs, watching each of them. Stop! He busted between two people. What? Huh? The grape guy, Moneta, and his partner, Kirishima, were fighting. It was bad, to say the least. The two were at totally different skill levels. I don't think you guys should be paired. A frown from Kirishima sent Izuku into a mid-panic. Not that you guys are, doing anything wrong. Kirishima has more experience with martial arts than Mineta does. Frankly, you two are just tossing him to the ground. Mineta does nothing about it. And then your height difference, although Mineta, you're really short, so I don't think anyone is really best suited for your spar, but you should at least work with someone similar skills level. Otherwise, you'll just be getting beaten up over and over. Izuku scanned the class and their partners. He had stuck with what Izuku could assume were their friends. Honestly, most of them had very similar skill sets. The ones who had the best fighting abilities were Shinso, Kirishima, Todoroki, Mina, Bakugou, Sato, and Uraraka. Can I partner up with a girl? Mineta's tone instantly set off a few bells in Midoriya's head. He sounded a bit like men he had to deal with who were outside bars at night looking for a place to stay the night. Honestly, you should probably go with someone like Koda. Neither of you have any experience fighting. Izuku didn't want to say anything rude to Mineta, but he could tell the purple-haired boy had never bothered to learn how to fight. The fact that someone was in the hero course and barely had a grasp of the basics of fighting was infuriating. Even though his quirk wasn't particularly strong, Mineta seemed to rely on it. Koda was different. He could tell it wasn't that Koda didn't care about fighting, it was just that the kid was petrified to fight. Mineta grumbled a few times at losing the chance to fight with a girl. Kirishima, are you good then? Yes, thanks, Midoriya. The boy smiled brightly, showing off his shark teeth. Izuku didn't want to make assumptions, but Kirishima seemed happier to be fighting someone new. Izuku continued to monitor different groups and giving them advice where he could. Then he could hear a very loud and familiar yelling. Why won't you fight him, you half and half? Izuku sighed with annoyance. Kachan. After a glance at Aizawa, it was pretty easy to determine he wasn't going to do anything. Based on the rest of Two-Way's reaction, this was also a common occurrence. Icy hot. Fight me. No. Todoroki continued to ignore Bakugou and completely left the boy, who was still happening to be yelling. Todoroki was walking to the other side of the gym and past Izuku. Todoroki? Yes. Why does Kachan hate you so much? Izuku tried to watch the boy's face for any giveaways in his emotions. However, the boy stayed strangely impassed. It was almost unnatural. He keeps yelling about how you don't respect him and you don't try hard. Why? I thought you watched a sports festival. I did. So you know my quirk. Yes. And you know how I only use my left side. Yes, I remember that. You wanted to win the tournament without using your fire. You said that after winning the obstacle course. I never want to use my fire. Realization set in. That's why Kachan hated him. It wasn't a one-time occasion where Todoroki wasn't using his full power. He never used his full power. That's stupid. Todoroki raised an eyebrow. I mean, if I had a quirk. You don't have a quirk. Did I not mention that? Well, I don't have a quirk, and if I had yours, I'd use it all the time. You're being selfish. You don't understand. Quirks are scary. There are so many people whose quirks can cause them more harm than good. I've seen it. However, it isn't your quirk that's causing your harm. Your head, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard, millions of people would give everything to be in your place. And you're not even trying. You've been given this power and you won't even use it. It is not my power. Well, unless you could somehow steal the quirk, it is your power. No, it is my father's. Does your father's quirk have the name half cold, half hot? Izuku asked, finally the irritation slipping into his voice. No, he doesn't. Meaning it's your quirk, and a completely different makeup than your father's. So stop wasting your time by being less than who you are. Izuku finished this with a long breath, and slowly processing what he just said. Before he could say anything else, however, Todoroki was gone. Izuku doesn't bother seeking him out. He continued making rounds, and ended up making friends with both Uraraka and Ida. They both kept asking him for advice about fighting, so Izuku mainly stayed focused on them after talking to Todoroki. After what felt like horribly long class, it was finally called to an end. Then Aizawa turned to Izuku. Time to get you home. Izuku let out a long sigh of relief. He wanted to come back to UA, but they were all exhausted. As he made his way to the class, his mind for once was rather quiet. It was a peaceful afternoon. The clouds were few and far between. Even if Izuku was bound for the night of yelling, dishes, and maybe patrol if he was lucky, He was content with where he was. He didn't have any problems or any goals. For once, even for a little while, he could just enjoy everything he's gotten. He being Kachan, so everything was fine. Yeah, this is giving I got abandoned. I mean, we didn't get left off a cliffhanger, so I'm happy about that. So we could just say that it's an open ending, and you could interpret the rest of it to go however you want. So welcome to Echo's segment of what happens next. Woo! So what I think happens next is Aizawa washes dishes. Izuku washes dishes. He doesn't get to go to patrol. He continues to go to UA and help out, which is Aizawa's little plan to make Izuku actually get a fucking license. Time goes on. I don't know. We could have some dramatic villain attacks and stuff like that. Izuku saves the day, whatever. I'm gonna add Shindeku in there somewhere because I'm addicted. I get it. I'm addicted. You don't gotta tell me. I know. Shindeku. Yummy. We could end the thing with Eri getting involved and being saved, and the whole Eri thing and adoption and yeah, and then like a time skip to Eri becoming a hero, Izuku being super proud, and married to Hitoshi. Woo! I didn't try that one. I didn't try that hard in that one, but we're finished with this, and I think the next one I'm gonna do is is another orphaned account one. It's short, so I'll finish it quick. I'll finish it in like a couple weeks, like a week and a half, and then wait until Kingston. I do all of Kingston's and get it there so that I could then move the orphaned account slot to Kingston, because I will never. That's Kingston slot. I'm gonna let's take a moment. We're gonna have a whole funeral once I'm finished with all of Kingston's fix. I will have a whole funeral. Anyways, this was super cool. This was super great, and for some reason, you guys really like this series. Like, I think this is like my most watched series right now. Ongoing series, obviously. So like, you guys really like this series. I don't know why. I don't know why you like it, but you guys do, and I'm glad that you guys do enjoy it and like it. I'm glad that it is something that you guys really enjoy, and I am glad that I'm posting that out for you guys. I mean, like, literally, the episode that I uploaded today literally got 100 views. Like, you guys are eating this shit up, and I'm glad you guys are. I have a feeling that you guys are also gonna eat up Take My Hand, I'll Lead You Into Death. That one hasn't been uploaded as of me recording this. Like, I've already recorded it, but I haven't uploaded as of me recording this. So I think that's another one. I think you guys eat up a lot of my dadzawa fix. You guys are really into the family Aizawa dadzawa fix. So like, my question is, are you guys okay? Like, should I be concerned about your home life? Like, should I be concerned? The next one that I'm gonna do is called Safe. It's by, surprise, orphan account. And basically it's dadzawa, except I'm gonna do my first dadzawa with Hitoshi and not Izuku, at least centric on the fic. It is a short fic. It is only 14,000 words long, and it has 10 chapters. Each chapter is probably gonna be like 10 episode, I meant. But yeah, chapters. Each episode is probably gonna be like 10 minutes long. Safety and what comes after. It's part of it. It's part of a series. No? I didn't know it was part of a series. It's not completed though. Unfortunately. Sag. Yeah, the next one, we could do the next one afterwards. Learn Behavior by Orphan Account. Yeah. Oh, definitely. I'm gonna do the next one as well. Okay, so this has been upgraded to 2.5 weeks. Okay, as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.